Welcome back, everybody, for game number 3. For Fun Gamers versus Dirty Lake and the boys. This is something you don't want to miss. Let's get right into it. Draft, please. Okay, well, Joey, this is going to be a really hot match to watch. But what does For Fun Gamers need to do in order to counter and go up against Dirty Lake and the boys?
Yeah, so I think last game they had a solid plan. They just didn't really got ahead enough to really execute that with the crunch in the middle. So I think they probably want to play more into a consistent scaling team, because if they try to do the same strat where they go for a heavy early game comp and kind of weaker late or just not able to get the ball rolling, then they're gonna run into the same issue they did with the second game. So I think for Fun Gamers, they probably want to go for a safer draft. I would say just a more consistent performing draft as the game goes on and on.
Yeah, I'm really curious about it, the draft. Oh, sorry, Trix, go ahead.
No, you are absolutely fine. I was really curious about it too, but the Decker ban coming out, I think that is a good idea, because something I noticed last game is Peak on the Muriel was making some questionable plays. I think that he really excels on picks where he has a little bit more agency, a little bit more playmaking potential. So taking the Decker away from them, especially with their first pick, I was going to say it enables them to maybe prioritize the Bellica ban or the Bellica pick, but we're seeing Bellica ban from the side of For Fun Gamers.
Yeah, this is actually the more typical bans we will actually see, because if the Decker is being banned, you know that Bellica is going to be picked up, because besides Decker, Bellica is like the superior support at the moment, and both the support and mid lane. So just kind of matching that and just taking both out of this game means I don't have to worry about either of these picks being picked up and the other ones are left in the dust. So this is definitely a stray away from the first two games with the more unusual bans like the Sedwalk and the Gideon ban. And we do see Sedwalk being picked up first by Dirty Lake and the boys. What do you think about this first pick by Demtrix?
I really like the Severog pickup for D-Lab. Lauber has been showing himself to be kind of a menace in this offlane, and I think that this really enables him to kind of scale up and make those playmaking potentials. He obviously wants to 1v1. He's been getting, there was an unlucky death early game last game against Zephyr, where Zephyr lived with like 35 HP at level 2. So I think that this is going to enable him to do more of what he wants, which I think is kind of that brawly style. I'm really excited to see what For Fun Gamers picks up, because we've seen Bry on that mid lane Bellica the last two games, but here's the Gideon coming out for him and the Richter. Richter has become a staple for Fun Gamers, and they've shown the flexibility in putting it mid or offlane and jungle. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what either Mad Corporeal or Zephyr can break out this game.
It's also very interesting too, because the Sedwalk game were being banned these last two previous drafts, but now we're actually seeing that, hey, they didn't ban my Sedwalk game, we're actually going to take it for ourselves. So there's a reason why I guess both teams were trying to ban pick each other, and we've seen them being prior picked right this instance, and we see the FaZe and Chimera being picked up right here. I really like the FaZe pick just because FaZe doesn't really do as good against, like, let's say the Decker Bellica. She doesn't have to worry about the hard CC, so she gets a little bit more agency to really push up and be more aggressive in the duel lane. And Chimera is that staple jungler that's just able to really just won the competition, and it just pairs so nicely with Sedwalk. Like, Chimera's early game threat, and then Sedwalk just really scales to the late game extremely well.
Yeah, it is interesting that For Fun Gamers is letting Toasty have FaZe for a third time, when he showed last game how much he just enables the playmaking potential out of Lakeinator. And the Chimera pick, a solid all-around pick. Maybe they saw what Grady was building and said, oh, like, Attainted Blade second Chimera, like, we can just blow him up. It'll be interesting to see if they change their playstyle around. But the Drongo pickup for Fun Gamers, I would have liked to see them maybe pick up the TB, since Lakin has shown that this is the champion that he actually absolutely wants to pilot every game. But Drongo is just an overall solid pickup, especially into the Severog. Rad rounds can help melt the tanks. He can help keep himself safe with the shrapnel cannon. So I like the pickup as well.
And we do see the gadget being banned right here. So we're getting back to the point where we only have 2 roles left to be filled. So now they're trying to target ban these picks. So they're going for the gadget ban again. But as we saw with the howitzer last time, that Appy can really just run the game mid with the howitzer. So I wonder if fun gamers are going for is the game's gonna be able to deal with the howitzer mid or not. And we do see Steel being banned right here, which again is getting to the point where you want to ban out certain picks left in the role. So it's kind of interesting that I think Sevrock can do quite fine against Steel offlane, but Steel can kind of WQ the Sevrock a lot actually early on. So maybe they want to remove that tank equation out, but also kind of let the Sevrock know how to deal with that hassle of the Steel always just on being him every like 5 seconds.
Yeah, the Steel ban is a little bit interesting because I don't feel like Sevrock loses lane to him, but it could be hard to win lane as much as you want. The Steel can get so tanky so early on that, you don't just get that kind of free farm lane. You can't just kind of run over your opponent because they're building damage and then you somehow manage to outscale them. But the Narbash pickup for For Fun Gamers, very interesting pickup. We haven't seen a lot of Narbash in the PCC at all. We saw R&R use them a little bit, but Narbash did not perform at all in those games. And seeing Peak on this after his Miro performance, we know that he likes to get in. We've talked about a little bit how you kind of want to play Narbash farther back than you feel like you should play a melee character. So it'll be interesting to see if Peak can pilot this character to success.
Yeah, I think it's really gonna come down to positioning, because when we saw like the Mario Peak, that wasn't like the best greatest positioning or like just playmaking. So Narbash is sort of in that realm that you really need to know exactly how to position and fight with Narbash to pull him off. And yep, we do see Abby back on the howitzer and Trim Blast, so it's just like they're licking the boys, just getting their comfort picks that they just show them they can really dominate really well on.
Yeah, this is practically the same team that they ran last game, just swapping out the Steel for the Sevrog, which I like. We saw Lauber manage to do, he was doing a little bit last game. His ults early game were questionable. His early game laning phase was questionable, but he really showed up late game in those team fights, creating so much space, CCing so many characters. But I like him on the Sevrog. Feng Mao pickup for For Fun Gamers rounding out. They've been ambiguous, I would say, with their offlane jungle picks. Mad Corporeal historically plays characters like Feng Mao, like Kalari, but he's shown a lot of Richter gameplay, but we've seen Zephyr on it as well, so who knows?
Yeah, it could also be a toss-up between if Richter's going to go the jungle or offlane, because either way, I think the Feng Mao Richter is good into the Sevrock. The question is, what kind of jungler they want to go into this last best of 3 series?
All right, well, looking at the draft, I'm going to start with you, Trix. Who wins this draft for you?
I have to give it to my boys D-Lab again. I think that this is just a straight step up from their draft last game, and last game they looked really solid.
Yep, they better watch out because Lauber is a mean Sevrog. I'm really curious to see what he's got. But what about you, Joey?
I might, after the first game, my face was a little shaky on D-Lab just because I know that these are really great players, and so I'm very glad to see the last game they really just pull off the soft and actually show who they really are. So I'm going into this third game, I think I have to give it to D-Lab. If they do anything like they did last game, they should be able to close this out, no problem at all.
But when it comes to FFG's draft, what are the pros looking at their team comp tricks?
Yeah, they have that Feng Mao, and Feng Mao is able to, if he comes online, then I think that he's very, very scary. We've seen Mad Corporeal use him, and once he gets the ball rolling, especially in that mid lane, he applies so much pressure to mid and off. But we've been talking about kind of how this duo lane is really, where a lot of the junglers are putting their pressure. So he might be overloaded with his ganking potential. You don't necessarily want to gank a howitzer. It's a hard gank to get off. He's got so much safety. So I'm looking for him to put pressure maybe towards that Sevrog, but then that puts a lot of the burden on your laner to take advantage of the lane state that you can set up, take advantage of a small kind of lead and really snowball that. And I'm not sure that Richter, if that's the off lane, that they can do that. But I definitely think it comes down to early game, probably first 5-6 minutes. If we can get a couple kills on that Feng Mao, then it's going to be a really tough game for D-Lab.
Oh, they better watch out for that Fang Mao. We know what they're capable of. But Joey, before we get into game number 3, any last final thoughts?
The only thing I can say is with that Sevok being on DLab, if FFG just cannot get the ball rolling early and just really try to press the early game finish, they're gonna fall off in the late game. That's like the big concern. So definitely pay attention to the first 20 minutes, because in the first 20 minutes, I think we can see who will win these best of 3 right here.
Yep. Who presses the W key more? Who wants the money more? Who wants to get richer? $700 to the winner of this series on this game alone. Please cheer on for the team that you are rooting for. Give them some love. Get your predictions in, because this is game number 3, baby. Choice and man of class. Take it away.
Yes, absolutely. The team who wins this game is taking home money, and the team who loses is unfortunately not going to get anything, but that's just the way it goes. I'm Choice Plays. I'm here with Man of Class, and we are just jumping in. We are jumping in a little bit late onto this matchup, but it's going to be all right. I'm getting a little bit of frame drops, but it's okay. It'll come right back. Don't you worry about it, chat. Man of Class, how are you feeling today?
I mean, we're still in the PCC. It's the place to be. Game 3 between Dirty Lake and the boys and FFG. It's gonna be a great one. It's 1-1. I mean, both games could not have been more different from one each other. Just like in the way that the drafts were, the way the teams played out. But it does look like FFG is a little bit more sort of one-dimensional in the way that they play the game. Just by virtue of the sort of heroes they almost need to draft in order to be successful. I am fascinated seeing this Narbash come through. I really want the Narbash to do well, because he is just, it's everything you want in a person. Like, Narbash is just great. And yeah, I mean, who doesn't like a little bit of music on the field, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I am a drummer myself, so I really love playing the Narbash. Sorry for the frame drops, everybody. My computer has gone through the ringer this weekend, putting on this incredible show. So I'm it's all good. It's all good. We're coming back. We're coming back here, and we're two and a half minutes into the game. Lobber's actually going to be getting a little bit low. Once again, we have to start the game just a teeny bit later than we would like to, just because we want to reduce the likelihood of a replay bug. So we're getting in here, jumping in, and it seems like so far it's just kind of been a back and forth, a little bit of pain here and there, but other than that, it's just kind of zoning.
Yeah, they're touching, they're feeling, they're seeing what they can and cannot grab, how far they can go. A little bit more damage being taken at the moment by the side of D-Lab. Actually, is this correct? I think the teams are flipped, aren't they?
Possibly.
I thought FFG had picked up the Narbash. Yeah, there we go.
You are correct.
That is just making sure that I'm not being crazy here, but of course it is the Narbash on the side of FFG. They're kind of okay taking damage as long as it's not in like consistent hard bursts, because they can heal it up a little bit easier. Like that mid-fight sustain from the Narbash is going to go off the charts later on. And it's of course very different than like the Muriel sustain. It's not based on items or shielding, just straight up healing. But after Baker and Grady, they're doing it again on that mid lane. They're setting up for the exact same combo that they were, and they are able to pick off Bry on the Gideon. You think Gideon is able to get away from everything because they got like so much movement? Not this time around.
Absolutely beautiful plays from this. Whoa, okay. I guess Grady just wanted to not give the kill on over to Bad Corporeal.
Right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? Well, maybe because you want to win the game. That's probably why not. But yeah, Lauber now finally on the Sevarog. I mean, it's been banned out every single time, probably for a very good reason. I'm assuming FFG just didn't want to have Lauber play Sevarog, and they don't really want to particularly play themselves. But we've seen it throughout these games, especially the last game, that there are just picks that you want to avoid. And the interesting thing is that both these teams have really been prioritizing this support matchup. Like the Decker's been banned out a lot, the Bellic has now also come through, and I was really expecting FFG to pick up the phase themselves just so they could deny it from Toasty, but they seem to be comfortable saying, you know what, we don't have to take the phase, we'll let you have the phase, and just like, you know, build up Lakenator like you've been doing these past 2 games. We'll find another solution. And that has been like the sort of the weirdest thing about that draft for me, where you're like, you are realizing that this is like their whole thing, right? Toasty saves Lakenator, boosts Lakenator, and then they win just by sheer damage overwhelm. But seems like they want to counter that with their own playstyle, which apparently includes the Narbash. The chunk doesn't quite hit Lakenator and Toasty, not be able to be stunned up. So going to be a little bit more touchy-feely, a little bit back and forth, and just healing and pulling back and forth between Lakenator, Toasty, Peak, and Jay.
Very interesting setup here. This dual lane is going to be pretty exciting to watch. You know, you've got that phase in Twin Blast like you were talking about, Mana Class, but it's going up against, you know, the Drongo Narbash. So how's that going to work? Is the Narbash actually going to be kind of hard countered by the phase pull? It's not going to be able to, you know, get his ult off as much as he really wants. Because once again, that ult is kind of, you know, it's hard to hit sometimes.
I think we're talking about a situation where either the Narbash comes in after, like, so either the Narbash is there to waste those cooldowns so that pool gets used, or like other move abilities get used so that, you know, the ult can actually be dodged, and then they come in with the other CC abilities, or it's used later in a fight when those abilities have already been used. And you don't need to use it to stun up everybody. You can also use it to stun up one person. And if you hear that first club, if you throw that in their face and they're stunned once, they're much more likely to just try and run away. Then you go in with the ultimate afterwards. So there's ways to work around that, but it's definitely an execution and a timing issue. Like, you have to be aware of the cooldown cycles. You have to be aware of your positioning and your timing within that fight situation. And it can even be used as a zoning tool, honestly. Like, you don't even have to use it defensively. Sometimes you just want to use it so they cannot get on top of your carry. There's ways around it, I guess.
There's always a different angle to look at. There's always something new to check out. And that's why we do this here, Mana Class. That's why we put on these tournaments. We want to see all the big brain plays, just like Mad Corporeal coming in onto Lobber. He's probably going to try to get the Riplash out. Is going to miss, actually. Lobber's going to bait him to try. He started going into the jungle, was like, never mind, I'm going to go back out towards my tower. That was a little bit of a Riplash bait. I think that was pretty big brain from Lobber. He's going to be able to get the free back out. Feng Mao and Mad Corporeal are still there.
But you know what? What choice? He dodges the hook. He's completely safe, kind of, and he just blinks anyway. He still uses the flash. So a big brain play gets immediately negated by just a waste of a flash that's now online for 5 minutes. And now FFG knows that. So the next time, they don't even have to worry about hitting the hook. They can just walk up to him. And that's kind of problematic, if you ask me.
Yeah, oh, and look at this. Lakenator's in a very bad position. He's going to be pulled back, but it's in a very, oh my gosh, going to be able to dodge the Rich Flash, but not the Thunk. Is still going to be able to use the Blink to get out. Toasty is still there also to be able to pull him back. He did use it earlier on in this engagement, but a little bit of an energy beam, but it seems like Lakenator for now is safe.
What were you thinking, Lakenator? You could get away with that easily? Well, this time around, but if they miss that Riplash, well, they don't miss that Riplash next time. That's kind of what it comes down to with FFG about 50% of the time. What if they didn't miss that Riplash? There's been a couple of really good ones in this series so far, but imagine if he hit just like 3% more Riplashes. These games could just turn on their heads like that. Grady now picking up both their buffs. Gonna try and rotate over again back to the mid lane. They're getting ready to jump on Bri again. Appy Picker is ready, but I think, yeah, they're a bit too far back. That's not gonna hit anything. Still a lot of poke damage. Just Bri having to worry about all that damage coming in.
Oh, that was a lot of damage. Able to clear this wave super fast, and here we go. Popping off.
Not the beefiest hero, anyways. Like, Gideon's not walking around with a full suit of armor, you know. A couple of robes.
Probably wish he had a little bit of armor on him, just because that R2000 does a lot of damage. It's a little painful to look at.
Yeah. And we saw it last game as well. Like, Bri was just completely getting bursted down by Appy Picker constantly, and it does look like Appy Picker is just able to put up so much pressure in the lane, even without the threat of Grady. Like, sure, the fact that they got the elimination with Grady early on has definitely put a lot more caution into the way that Bri's been playing, especially now they're not on the Bellica, they can't do that counter stun. But it is... it's also just Appy Picker being able to do that damage on the Howitzer, and I feel like it's more damage than anyone's really expecting to come out of the Howitzer as well.
Yeah, it's especially the fact that Appy Picker's actually hitting the shots, hitting the R2000s pretty consistently, just like this, right onto Peak, doing a ton of damage. It's going to be able to set him up just for Grady to be able to stop him right in his tracks with that ultimate. There's a blink out of Mad Corporeal, and there we go. That is a winning fight in the favor of D-Lab.
What do you think you're doing there, Narbash? You getting Appy Picker under his own tower? That's just never going to happen, realistically. Like, I don't think they even had the damage to pull that off if they hit the thunk. Like, that's... a lot of that just feels like they're trying to force an issue that is not there. Like, there's not... Like, you know, that magazine is not being published. You can't force that issue to come out sooner. You have to wait for Kill Magazine for a little bit later in the game. It's only 10 minutes in, 11 minutes almost. Now, Gradix is going to take this for free. Don't think anyone's going to be able to challenge this, or even maybe they're not even aware of it happening, because there's 3 in the dual lane at the moment. Free mini prime for Grady, and he's just going to be a menace walking around this map, pressing W like Grady's known to do on this Chimera. And what are you going to do to stop him? Well, nothing right now maybe, but at least, you know, be sure that you don't get picked off by him constantly.
Yeah, and here we go. Lakeinator kind of by himself again, and this was one of the moments in the first game. He was by himself a lot. I think they were trying to give him a lot of solo XP and a lot of solo gold. But look, he's going to get aggressive, and the big bait from Peak is going to bring out Mad Corporeal. Is he going to be able to hit the hook? But no, Toasty, a huge armada comes out from D-Lab and absolutely blows up the Richter. And they're going to have to take it back on the side from the duo lane of the side of FFG, and that is a free Fangtooth.
Yeah, of course, with the Fangtooth being up, they already took the mini prime. You can bet your bottom dollars that there's gonna be someone, or at least a large part of D-Lab, flocking around the Fangtooth area. So going in there as Mad Corporeal, they might have even had vision on you. They know you're going in for that kill. They're just gonna chase you down. That was such a weird moment to go for that. Also so deep again. Like, barely anything they can really do for it. And while Peak is pretty good at baiting, they're not able to turn anything around after Peak has been doing the baiting. Now, Peak going ridiculously low, has the healing, of course. The abilities do come out. They don't quite get the elimination, but now they have to be on the run again. Lakeinator, no mana, a lot of health missing. Jay is chunking and chunking and chunking. No more pushback. Lakeinator with no more movement left either. But there's the Lance again, and there's Appy Picker. There's just going to be a Richter in a lot of trouble. Mad Corporeal is going to get blown up. There's Bri with the black hole, but the blink is out from Toasty. Appy Picker does get stuck in it, but where's the damage? There's absolutely no one left. It's just Bri, because Jay and Peak at run for the hills with the speed boost. Grady finishes it off, and once again, what looks like maybe the slightest bit of promise for FFG gets shut down by D-Lab. There was a door, there was a tiny crack, but as soon as they try to stick their hands through, it gets slammed on their fingers, and FFG is hurting.
Oh, the shot calling from D-Lab has been impeccable this game. The fact that Appy Picker was able to be there during that gank and be able to clean up a lot of that and deal a ton of damage to Mad Corporeal was probably the pivotal turning point in that fight. If he wasn't there to do that much damage, that Richter would have absolutely gone all over Lakeinator, probably picked up the ADC, but no, Appy Picker comes in, Grady comes in right after that and does a ton of damage, and that's it. That is a winning fight in the favor of D-Lab.
D-Lab just... look how far ahead they are, like in every metric. They're 100 CS ahead. They are 6 kills and to 0 on the side of FFG at the moment still. It is just crazy to think about how FFG is going to be able to go against this. They are truly playing from behind at the moment, and Grady doesn't even care. It's just like helping Mad Corporeal get the camp almost in their own jungle. Like, that is some confidence and some feeling that you're ahead that we have not really seen a lot this BCC.
Ooh, okay, huge pickup there. There was the Oh my goodness, Grady is still going to be alive here, just barely though. Has to get out as fast as possible. Ooh, okay. Lobber's still in there to pick it up. Appy Picker still doing damage. Mad Corporeal, I'm surprised he's still in this right now and still actually fighting up against Appy Picker. There might be a little bit more magic defense on the side of Mad Corporeal, but that was a little interesting, a little scary there for a second, but it looks like he is rotating on over to the left lane to catch this wave.
And you know what we haven't even really looked at? It's that Fengmao on the off lane. They kind of sort of exist versus the Sevarog, but it doesn't really look like a lot is happening. I think they go down every now and then or just get pushed back by the Sevarog, but yeah, they're
if you
not
look,
even
the
able...
tower hasn't even taken any damage.
No, and they're not even able to split push because Sevarog doesn't have to leave their lane at all. They don't have to rotate to anywhere else and have to help with objectives because the rest of the lanes are all winning. Like every single lane is losing on the side of FFG. Every single lane is winning on the side of D-Lab, and their lead is only growing. We're 9-0 at the moment. 2 Fang Teeth. There's an Orb Prime that's going to be spawning in like 4.5 minutes that, you know, D-Lab has every business to take, and FFG is not even close to contesting at this stage. So FFG needs to find something, and it feels like they've already given up too much in order to actually be able to close the gap at all.
Yeah, this is really tough to see. Lakeinator now actually going up against the duo of FFG right now. Still going to be able to get out for free. That movement ability on Lakeinator on the Twin Blast is actually incredible, but Grady is going to get onto this Richter. Going to do a little bit of damage, not too much going in, but Lakeinator is in. There's going to be a ton of damage. The energy lance comes out, not going to be able to pick up anybody just yet. The Grady is going to be able to come in. Jay tries to use the ultimate to get out of there from Drongo, but still taking a ton of damage from Lakeinator, taking the fight, but still is going to go down, and there it is. This T2 is going to be under siege in just a moment.
Yeah, they might even try and get an inhibitor as well. They have about 20 seconds before the Gideon's back, 10 before the Dron goes back. Of course, the Richter's going to spawn any second, but it's just not happening at the moment for FFG. Again, we're really we're trying to, you know, think. I know I am. I'm definitely trying to think, like, what does FFG have to do? Like, how can they possibly get back into this? And the only answer is really stop them from pushing your tower. So just play under your tower. Make sure that you find an opening where they make a mistake with like 1 or 2 characters, and you're there with like a majority in terms of numbers, and find those pickoffs. But contesting objectives is nigh impossible for FFG. It does look like they're trying to make a play around that Fangtooth area in the near future. They're moving towards the area, but the Orb Prime, the Mini Prime, the last one of this game and the last one of their series, is going to be undoubtedly picked up by D-Lab, and that's going to be Grady again walking around with a heck of a ton of power, and they might trade the objective. But honestly, D-Lab might as well contest this. They have the power.
Yeah, they're going in. The Orb Prime is now activated on D-Lab. Lakeinator going in. The popped ult from Peak is actually probably going to catch out Lakeinator, but there's no one there to follow up, so he's going to go straight down, but that's going to be the first Fangtooth in the favor of FFG. But Lobber, the big chunky boy, is going to go in, catch out Zephyr. Zephyr's so low, and he's going to be taken down by Lakeinator with one of those Qs. There they go. Grady still on the tail of Mad Corporeal, and there it is. So many abilities going on to this Richter. Going to take him down. Is this going to be a full wipe for the favor of D-Lab? They're still going on to Bry, and there it is. Lakeinator comes in with that Q and cleans it all up.
Peak does respawn, but what's Peak gonna do? The lone Narbash. Now is the Drongo, but really it's a 5v2. You're under-leveled, under-farmed. You have nothing to work with almost, and Lakeinator is just gonna burst this tower down together with Grady and Toasty. The inhibitor is gone. Going over to the next lanes, that tier 2 on mid is undoubtedly going to go down too. The minion wave's already there. Don't even have to worry about anything. And what do you really have left? Again, we're talking about a situation that is almost unwinnable for FFG. They got the Fangtooth, so they did at least the thing where they denied the objective. But they gave up so many kills for it that they basically broke even, and probably less than that. And FFG, I mean, you know, I'm just trying to figure out a way in which they can possibly come back to it. And, you know, if we have like the win probability thing, I'm pretty sure there's like a 2% win chance or something that they still have. I can't see the 2%. It's so small.
Yeah, this is tough. They've just been bullying Mad Corporeal basically all game. Grady's gotten his number all game this time. And yeah, it's tough to see. It's tough to watch, but one inhibitor down. Seems like D-Lab have got the fire under their butts to finish this off and get all the way to the third place, all the way to the money, and get that cash in their pockets.
FFG, the dark horse team with the Black Cat logo, they were coming in. No one really expected them to do, people expected them to do, things. We saw them come through the seeding round, the group stage. They were doing really well, better than people expected. They got some roster swaps in that even leveled up their team a little bit more. But it does seem like they have finally met that obstacle after their game yesterday as well, their series against the Horse Timing. That is just going to be that little bit too much. D-Lab gonna pick up the Ore Prime and gonna start their ascent, their march towards the core. They're gonna try and close this game out within the next 5 minutes, most likely, unless SFFG pulls out a miracle, unless they grab a couple of bottles and don't catch lightning once, but about 70 times. FFG is looking at the mountain Olympus to defend without Zeus. Their lightning bolt's gone. Who's holding it? It's the entirety of D-Lab, because they picked up the Ore Prime, and that's a lot of power.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be tough, because you could see the Gideon was looking to split push with the Drongo on the left side for FFG, but it just wasn't enough. The siege is just too difficult for FFG, and here we go. There is some interesting stuff there on the ground, but they've got to get a wave up in here. That's going to be the last and final inhibitor, and it's all getting a little bit too tense now. FFG have to get a pick, probably onto Lakeinator or Appy Picker. That's a ton of damage that would be out of their pockets, but look at it all. He's going to go down. He's going to get hit by the thunk, but it's still too much damage. He's absolutely blowing everyone up on the side of FFG, but here we go. Appy Picker's going to be able to use the landmine, and there it is. A beautiful stasis. Lauber's trying to do a little bit of peel, but he is going to go down. Appy Picker is seeing the other side at the moment, but Lauber is going to try and follow up. There's 3 members of FFG left, and this is
that close without Lakeinator. Lakeinator wasn't even there, so and the damage was still enough. There's the black hole from Bry trying to counter it back. Grady comes in with the swings as the axe is whirling around. Jay going ridiculously low, tries to get back to the fountain, tries to get back healed up, but Lauber doesn't want to let him. They do barely make it. The healing from Peak does get them there. Toasty with Energy Lance supporting Grady. Maybe wants to try and get Lauber back out of it, and even with all that buff, it still seems that FFG has some fight left into them. This game is not over just yet, but man, is it getting close, Choice. How much more can FFG take? They definitely won that fight, though, because even when they trade out, they get way more than D-Lab gets from those kills.
Yeah, now they're starting to stack up those bank accounts. They're starting to get some gold into their pockets, get some items online right now. You could see Bry right now, basically with only 1 full item bought so far, and it's 22 minutes in. That's really difficult. The fact that they were able to pressure the mid lane that much is absolutely insane for D-Lab, but here we go. 20 kills to 3 on the side of D-Lab, with about 100 CS more than FFG. This is the moment where FFG can kind of turn it around a little bit, but Zephyr is going to go down. Lauber is just too tanky, especially with that Ore Prime buff on him.
Or Prime buff is still there. I think they still have it. It's ridiculous that thing lasts for so long, but they're going to pick up the Primal Fangtooth. Once again, a big buff coming their way with a try and go for another siege. Lauber is pushed up all the way. Jay is chunking them down, but not fast enough because it's a fully built Sevarog. At least, well, fully built for as much as they can be at like 23 minutes in, but again, the back office there, FFG missing there. Oh, they don't even have their ADC anymore. Jay, all the damage they did last fight is going to be non-existent this time. Lakeinator is there, and Choice, it looks like this is going to be the end.
It does. It looks like it's going to be the end. They are going to pick up a kill there. They're trying their best right now. Brian's going to go in with the black hole and actually stave off this siege of the core right now. So they're still going. They're still kicking. There's another wave going underneath. Lakeinator's really trying to get as much damage onto the core as possible, doing some damage to Mad Corporeal as well. Bry trying to keep all of these waves back, but Lauber, he's trying to come in as well. He's hitting the core. Lakeinator, he wants the money in his pocket. pockets. He wants that cash. Mad Corporeal trying to stave him off as much as possible. Bry, Zephyr, Peak, Jay just gets back up. That's a little bit of damage, but Mad Corporeal is almost dead. Granny, what are you doing, man? You're so low. Are they going to be able to do this? This is a beautiful defense from FFG, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. It looks like it's D-Lab taking it all the way in a 3-game series with an absolutely dominant performance.
What a finish. And it really felt like D-Lab was forcing the issue. It felt like a couple of missteps could have just cost them the immense lead they had, the victory, but they kept on steadily poking away, just stepping forward, poke a little bit and back, step forward and poke a little bit and back. And every now and then FFG steps out. They either get caught or they have to back off as well. It's this beautiful dance. But unfortunately, as long as the minions keep coming, that core is gonna fall. And D-Lab was just too far ahead. We're ending the game at 24 against 3. That is a difference in kills that we didn't really expect out of a series like this. But unfortunately, FFG, as much as they could get them in that first game, they were never, ever as close anymore as they were at the end of game 1. And they go away with nothing but hopes and dreams. Luckily, though, this showed us that they had a really great team going here, Choice. Like, they were definitely sort of fighting with the best at the highest level of Predecessor. And maybe with some more time, we might see some challengers come in.
I mean, 4 fun gamers came in, made a team, joined up, and look at them. They went all the way to the 3rd and 4th place match here in the PCC 5, just shy of the money, just shy. But it's all right. There's always the PCC 6. There's going to be more events from us. We're so excited to get this. I have been Choice Plays. This is the end of casting for me. I'm going to continue, obviously, to run the stream. But Mana Class, where can people find you? Are you on the social medias?
It's on the Zitters. It's Mana Class. Just add a cast behind it. My profile picture's pretty clear that it's in fact me. But while it's done for us, Choice, not done for the day yet. This was only the warm-up, the amuse-bouche, the precursor to what is sure to be the game of, well, so far of Predecessor, potentially. Gonna go into the grand final soon, so Desk, take it away. Choice has got some more work to do behind the scenes, so I'm gonna wish you a good luck. I'm gonna sit back, grab a snack, and enjoy this series.
Dirty Lake and the boys, 18-minute inhibitor, 18-0 at 19 minutes, finishing with 24-3. GG's, $700 in your pockets. Thank you so much, Dirty Lake and the boys. Congratulations. Who do you think is the MVP there, chat? And thank you so much for Fun Gamers for being a part of our tournament. They put up with all that they could, but D-Lab coming out on top, securing 3rd place. Tricks, what just happened?
You know, honestly, I'm a little disappointed in the performance of D-Lab. They dropped a couple kills. You know, they let 4 Fun Gamers get 1 objective on the map. I think that, you know, for the next tournament, they really need to tighten up their performance. But what we actually saw was a complete dismantlement of 4 Fun Gamers by D-Lab. It looked like, I don't know, it was like, if you remember the show Pros versus Joes, where they just like got normal people to compete against like professional athletes, that's what it felt like, where it was just like one team has no idea, like it's like baby's first MOBA, and D-Lab was just running circles around them the whole game.
Yeah, I was kind of doubting them. Like with the first game, I was like, what happened there? But then game 2 came out. And then game 3, like what? Joey, what happened in game 3?
This series has kind of been wild because of that huge upset for game 1. But then game 2, we saw D-Lab coming back in strong, and then game 3 was just like so one-sided. It was just like, what happened with game 1? Now on the explanations have, I guess they were still waking up, getting the coffee. Okay, we're gonna W key, get our mechanical skills, practice up, and then we're just gonna take the 2-3, no problem at all. Because that's what seems like they did. So I mean, I think this could have easily been a 2-0 by the Lake and the boys if they just kind of gone to the first game with better like mindset, better plan. But at the end of the day, they still shown that they were able to all topple over FFG and this best of 3 right here.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm the curse this time around. But Trix, what went well for FFG there in during the series, I guess?
Yeah, so for Fun Gamers, they had glimpses of greatness, especially in the first game. They were able to really capitalize on the mistakes of D-Lab, but as D-Lab went through the series, they were scaling IRL, they were making less and less mistakes, they were playing more crisp, more as a team, and just when they didn't have those openings to capitalize on, it looked like they couldn't make enough proactive plays and proactive decisions to put D-Lab on the back foot.
Yeah, and then looking at the logos, I guess maybe the cat was like playing around with the controller and then got electrocuted or something. But Joey, before we let you guys go, anything that you want to mention about this best of three?
Yeah, I think if anything, like FFG going into this tournament, they're like a newer team. They've shown they have some really great players. They have some great playmakings and good decisions. It's just they kind of fell a little short in this like last game right here. So it's a little unfortunate. Bad games do happen, but I'm definitely excited to see how they can kind of keep moving forward into the next PCC round. But definitely big congratulations to Dirty Lake and the boys, and both teams should be proud of their performances in this PCC.
Give it up for Trix and Joey. Top-notch desk analyst, time and time again. Trix, what's your spiel before we let you go?
Yeah, so if you scroll down, there's like a little purple button. It might say subscribe, it might not. If it does, can you go ahead and click that? Check if you have an Amazon Prime sub. It is September. After all, go ahead, follow @PredPCC on Twitter, follow F6, follow Lance, follow everybody's socials, boost that viewership up, and let's get Predecessor to be, the best esport that we can make it.
Yep, September annual celebration that offers discounts on your subscriptions right on Twitch for new or upgrading subscribers. I got that from Google. But Joey, drop your socials. How do we find you?
Yeah, of course, you can find me over YouTube, also on Twitter, where I post occasional pictures of my dog for those who are enjoyers of doggos. But also, you might as well follow the PCC Twitter and Twitch page, because I'm here all the time at this point. It's always been a blast whenever I come on and be able to cast and be able to talk with everyone. So definitely, I'll be around here as well.
Thank you to you both. Don't go anywhere, chat. We are going for a short break here, but we are going to give you some time to, if you grab your favorite snack, if you haven't already, please, because we are going to have a spicy, fiery, heated, intense, red hot, combustible, best of 5 EWT versus the Professors.